Hi everybody, I'm Waiting Moose and today I'm going to be doing the book buying habits book tag. So I was tagged to do this by Love from CL, who has a fantastic channel and you should really go and check that out. She's just fantastic. She's doing Vlogmas as well, so she's got quite a bit of stuff up right now for you to watch. I've got my phone. This is where my questions are. Sorry, I don't have that kind of memory anymore and I need to get some sort of teleprompter. This is the book buying habits day. First question is, where do you buy your books from? I buy mine mostly at thrift stores. I buy a lot at thrift stores, used bookstores. I buy them at the library book sales. Sometimes Costco, if they've got a book that I want to read and they tend to have a good copy of it, like they tend to bring in nice books and they are reasonably priced a lot of the time. And sometimes I get them at Indigo, which is really the only bookstore that I have close to me, so that's it. Do I ever pre-order books? No. And if I do I do this in store or online? I just have so many books that I need to read or want to read that I don't really feel the need to be the first person to read a book. That might change as I do this, but I can wait. So maybe in the future I might do it online just so they get delivered to me on or around the day that they get released. On average, how many books do I buy a month? I can't say I haven't. I'd say I probably average buying 3 to 5 books a month. I don't buy a lot of books. I mostly get them from the library, which is the next question. Do you use your local library? Yes, I do. I love my local library. They actually have an extremely good collection of books. They've got a really good non-fiction section. They've got a great teen and children's section. And then the adult fiction is just fantastic as well. I can typically find something I want there. But this year I was doing this Finish What You Started challenge, and unfortunately they didn't have a lot of books in the series that I've been reading. I had to order a lot of books through them, and it's cool because they're actually set up on an interprovincial library system. So I can request a book and it'll come from like the other side of the province. And I try not to do that. I try to check to see if they've got them local because then I'll get them in a day or two, as opposed to some of the books they've taken like 3 weeks to get to me, which is insane. What is my opinion on library books? I think it's a fantastic tool. I like reading. It's given me the I really like the fact actually that my library has ebooks and audiobooks available online through 3 sources really. There's Overdrive, there's Hoopla, and there's the 3M Cloud Library. I can go to any of those and get ebooks and audiobooks. I use the audiobooks a lot, as I've mentioned before. I think I've got a video coming out about that where I just kind of blah, 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 blah audiobooks. I apologize for that. I was really excited. I think it's a great way to save money. It's a great way to try new authors or try a book. I read a lot of cozy mysteries and a lot of romances. Starting a new series can be tricky because I might not like the characters, I might not like the premise, there might be a lot of things I don't like about them. There's millions of them written. And so I don't want to go and spend that money on that book and hate it. So it's great for me because I can go to the library and I can get these books, or I can get them at a thrift store, but I can go to the library, I know I can get them, whereas it's a hunt at the thrift store. I just think that it's perfect. It's an excellent way to try things out or read things that I maybe don't necessarily want to have in my collection, like some young adult books or children's books, but I want to read them. If I want to read books, I tend to buy them after I've read them at the library, or in some cases, like I've got series like Jim Butcher's Dresden Files, I just buy them. Longmire, I will probably just buy those. They're books that I'm just going to buy. Terry Pratchett, I haven't taken a Terry Pratchett book out of the library for God knows how long. Years, anyway. I think it's a great way to save money. There's a lot of libraries that are free. They even have free memberships. It makes it fantastic. It makes it accessible for everyone to be able to do this. And I love reading, so I think everyone should have the ability to do it without going broke. How do I feel about secondhand books? Again, I get a lot of secondhand books. Growing up, we always used to read a book, and like my mom would buy a couple books and she'd read them and then she'd hand them to the neighbor and get books back from the neighbor. I've always had secondhand books. I get new ones too. My grandma did the garage sale thing. If I can find them at garage sales, they're usually extremely cheap. I love that too. I think it's a great way to do it. I think it's a great way to save money on books. Unless they're extremely dirty or smelly, there's really no problem with them. Do I keep my TBR pile on my main bookshelves or not? Sort of. I will have a TBR, like everything on my shelves. Right now, most of what I have on my shelves, I've got one shelf that is stuff I've read and I assume I'll want to read again. The rest of my shelves are pretty much unread or books that my husband's read. They're all on my main bookshelf. I will do a TBR for a month and I'll probably pull those books off the shelves to either set them on my night table or another shelf so that I know which ones I've decided to read that month. They're on the shelf with all the rest of them. They all get to party together. Do I plan to read all the books I own? Probably. The only caveat there is that some of them are books my husband's bought and they're science fiction. I may or may not like them. I may or may not want to read them, but I do intend to at least try to read all of the books on my TBR shelf, or all the books I own. What do I do with the books? What do you do with books you feel you will never read or did not enjoy? Used bookstore. There was a used bookstore where I used to live. I miss them. They were so awesome. It was called We Book In. And you could go in and you'd take your stack of books and they would go through them and figure out which ones they wanted and then give you 2 foreign credits. So basically, if I traded in 4 books, I could walk out of there with 2 of their used books. They worked out perfect for me. It was great. Saved me a lot of money. There's a few used bookstores around me, but I will probably end up donating them to the library just because I love my library here and because I'm in a smaller community. I don't think they get the same amount of funding that a city does, so I just think it's important to make sure that they have a group of volunteers called the Friends of the Library, and they do fundraising to do things like buy furniture for the library or, chess boards. We've got chess boards now and they do a chess night and teach people how to play chess. So I just think it's such a great resource for the community that I will probably just donate them to the library. Or I will give them to friends. We also have some little free libraries in the neighborhood, so I've been checking those out and dropping off books. But there's been some vandalism in them and I just feel bad if the books I leave get vandalized. Have I ever donated books? Yes, I have. I donated them to Goodwill up in Edmonton before I moved. I donated a lot of books because not all of the books were acceptable to We Book In, mainly because they need to make sure they can sell the inventory. So if they had too many of the book or didn't think that it was saleable, they wouldn't take them. Have I ever been on a book buying ban? Sort of. When I first joined Goodreads, I bought a lot of books and then I decided that was costing me a lot of money, so I stopped and I switched to the library and I made it sort of my policy that especially if I was trying a new author or a new series, I would get them from the library first and then buy them if I thought that it was something that I wanted to spend my money on, instead of buying a bunch of books and then having box after box of books that I gave away when I had to move. It was disappointing. And finally, do you feel that you buy too many books? No. Really? What kind of question is that? Yes, I probably do, but that's only because I got in such a habit of using the library, and this year I had the challenge of finishing series that I started that I could only get at, I couldn't get at my local library, so I put them on hold. They'd all come in at once, and then I never got to read the books on my shelf that I haven't read. I do have a lot of books sitting on my shelf that are unread, but that doesn't mean I bought too many. That means I requested too many from the library. That's how I'm getting around that one. Tag your it. I will think about who to tag in this. Don't know, because I have to check who Love from CL tagged, and then I will make a list and I will include it in my comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I like answering questions. Feel free to leave me your comments. Stay well. Watch some of my other videos. And I will be back again tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't even know anymore. I've got a schedule, but that schedule has gone. Now it's just kind of a guide for things I'm going to do this month and not by day because it's just gone out the window. But there's lots of cool stuff coming up or already on the channel. So I hope you stick around and find some of that. Happy holidays, everyone, and I hope you're having a fantastic Vlogmas. Have a great night, day, whatever. Bye. Really? That was just sitting there.